Naranchaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayet shinvitam svakata krishna punyashravana kirtanah hrudayantasto hi abhadrani vidunoti suhrutsatam nashtapraye shivabhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavate uttama sloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 23, Verse 17. Indriyeshu manastani tanmatreshu yashodbhavam bhutadi namuni utskrishya mahati atmani sadate. Synonyms: Indriyeshu, in the sense organs; Manaha, the mind; Tani, the sense organs; Tatmatreshu, in the objects of the senses; Yathadbhavam, where from they generated; Bhuta Adina, by the five elements; Amuni, all those sense objects; Utkrishya, taking out; Mahati, in the Mahatattva; Atmani, unto the ego; Sadade, amalgamated. Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. He amalgamated the mind with the senses and the sense with the sense objects according to their respective positions. And he also amalgamated the material ego with the total material energy Mahatattva. Purport: in respect to the ego, the total material energy is surrendered in two parts. One agitated by the mode of ignorance, and the other agitated by the mode of passion and goodness. Due to agitation by the mode of ignorance, the five gross elements are created. Due to agitation by the mode of passion, the mind is created. And due to agitation by the mode of goodness, false egoism or identification with the matter is created. The mind is protected by a particular type of demigod. Sometimes the mind, manaha, is also understood to have a controlling deity or demigod. In this way, the total mind, namely the material mind controlled by the material demigods, was amalgamated with the senses. The senses, in turn, were amalgamated with the sense object. The sense objects are forms, taste, smell, sounds. Sound is the ultimate source of the sense object. The mind was attracted by the senses, and the senses by the sense object, and all of them were ultimately amalgamated in the sky. The creation is so arranged that cause and effect follow one after the other. The merging process involves amalgamating the effect with the original cause. Since the ultimate cause is the material world, is Mahatattva, everything was gradually wound up and amalgamated with the Mahatattva. This may be compared to Sunyavada or voidism, but this is the process for cleaning the real spiritual mind or consciousness. When the mind is completely washed of all material contamination, the pure conscious acts, the sound vibration from the spiritual sky, can automatically cleanse all the material contaminations, as confirmed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Cheto Darpanamarjanam. We need only to take the advice of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and chant the Hare Krishna mantra to cleanse the mind of all material contamination, and this may be considered the summary of this difficult verse. As soon as the whole material contamination is washed away by the process of chanting, all desires and reactions to the material activities become immediately vanquished, and real life peaceful existence begins. In this age of Kali, it is very difficult to adopt the yogic process mentioned in this verse. Unless one is very expert in such yoga, the best course is to adopt the ways and means of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Thus, one can gloriously become freed from all material contamination by the simple process of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Just as life in this material world has its beginning in the material sound, similarly in spiritual life has its beginning in the spiritual vibration sound. नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमति भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तविंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे. I would like to seek blessing from all the assembled Vaishnavas and thank you for an opportunity to purify myself. Please forgive me for any shortcomings. So we are in the fourth canto, the creation of the fourth order, and the chapter is 23. The Maharaj Prudus going back home. So just to recap, the previous verse described about how Prithu Maharaj planned and executed his departure from the world. So when he noticed his entering into the old age, Maharaj retired from the family. Prithu Maharaj retired from the family life and went to the forest and performed severe austerities as prescribed in the scriptures. And Maharaj Prithu thus engaged completely in the devotional service, executing the rules and strictly according to the principles. Thus, his love and devotion unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna developed and became unflinching and fixed. When Prithu Maharaj was to give up his body, he fixed his mind firmly upon the lotus feet of Krishna and thus completely situated on the Brahma Bhuta platform. He gave up the material body. The immediate previous verses talks about how he amalgamated the material senses to material energy, and in this verse talks about how he amalgamated the material ego with the total material energy, that is Mahatattva. So in this verse, Prabhupada talks about how the five elements mind, false ego was created due to agitation, and the mind and false ego was created due, due to agitation by the modes of ignorance. The five elements are created. Mind was created due to agitation by the mode of passion, and false ego was created by the mode of goodness. And if you look at the Bhagavad Gita 7.4, Krishna says, Bhumirapo nalo vayu kram mano buddhir evacha ahankara ityam me bhinna prakriti astada. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. Altogether, these eight constitute my separated material energies. And also, if you look into the Narada Panchatatra, it says, Vinostu trini rupani purushakshani atto vidu ekam tu mahatatsrasra vitiyam tvi anda samsmitam Trityam sarvabhutastam tanignatva vimuchyate. For material creation, the Lord Krishna plenary expansion assumes three Vishnus. The first one, Mahavishnu, creates the total energy known as Mahatattva. The second, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, enters into all the universes to create diverse in each of them. The third, Kshirodashayaka Vishnu, is diffused as the all-pervading supersoul in all the universes, and it is known as Paramatma. He is present even within the atoms. And anyone who knows these three Vishnus can be liberated from the material entanglement. So this material world is a temporary manifestation of one of the energies of the Lord. All the activities of the material worlds are directed by these three Vishnu expansions of the Lord Krishna. And these Purushas are called incarnations. Generally, one who does not know the science of God, Krishna, assumes that this material world is for the enjoyment of the living entities and that the living entities are the Purushas, the causes, the controller, and enjoys of the material energy. But however, here Prithu Maharaj is clear about how the material energy or Mahatattva was created by the Supreme Personality of a Godhead, and he knows the science of amalgamating the body back into the earth, water, fire, air, and sky of the material energies. The mind and intelligence was amalgamated with spiritual energy or sound vibrations. To make this happen, the mind should be free of all contaminations. It is very important to keep the mind always in a pure state and free from any contamination. So, yesterday we heard the class from Mukunda Datta Prabhu that envy is the main cause for you to come into this world. And this is because we want to enjoy separately from the Krishna. Because we have to free all material desires and contaminants to cleanse our heart. So our heart is mainly accumulated with so much dust like kama, krodha, lobha, mada, matsarya. So kama is the desire, and krodha is the anger, lobha is the greed, and mada is the pride, and macharya is the envy and jealous, and alasya is the laziness. And these characteristics bind the soul to the cycle of birth and death and keep it confined to this material world. A mind which is in delusion, that is moha, ignores its inner consciousness, atma. As a result, it starts believing that its ego is its only existence. Such an ego dependent mind soon goes into a state of arrogance, mada. And in an arrogant mind, personal desires, karma, start flourishing. As the mind fulfills some of its initial smaller desires, it keeps desiring more stuff to become greedy. That is lobha. After some time, at some point, it eventually fails to fulfill some of its bigger desires, and then the mind gets angry. Finally, the mind starts envying Matsarya on others who have more stuff than us. So this is the way how the things will flow if we don't keep the mind in check. So Prabhupada explains in the purport that one has to purify their mind to enter into the spiritual energy to excavate the cycle of birth and death, that is the liberation. So there are several prescribed processes like karma yoga, gnana yoga, bhakti yoga to purify the mind depending on the time, place, and circumstances. So in the Kali Yuga, which is considered the most challenging of the four yugas due to its spiritual and moral degradation, the primary purification process recommended is Sankirtana, especially the chanting and glorifying of the names of the Lord. So in Shistashtakam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Cheto Darpanamarjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Sreya Kairiva Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandambuji Vardhanam Pratipadam Purnashavadanam Sarvatmastapanam Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. The meaning is glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtana, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditioned life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtana movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila 6.242, it says, Nama, Harer Namaiva Kevalam, Kalau Nasti, Eva Nasti, Eva Gatir Anyata. So the meaning is, in this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, the only means of deliverance is the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. There is no other way, there is no other way, there is no other way. So the people of this age are so fallen, they can simply chant the Hare Krishna mantra. In this way, they can get rid themselves of the bodily conception of life and become eligible to engage in the Lord's devotional service. And one cannot engage in the devotional service of the Lord without being purified of all contamination. And this is further confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 7.28. Eshantu antagatam papam gnanam punya karmanam te dvandva moham nirmukta bhajate mam drutafrutaha. Krishna clearly says that persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life, and whose sinful actions are completely eradicated, are freed from the duality of delusion, and they engage themselves in my service with determination. So we saw recently that 11 years old boy got initiated in sadhsanga, and he is so determined to execute the devotional service to the Lord. And these are the peoples for the examples for this verse. And this in this age of Kali, her her katha is very, very important. The importance of chanting the and Sankirtana is very important. So it says in Srimad Bhagavatam, Kaler dosha nidhe rajan astihi eko mahaguna kirtanat eva krishnasya mukta sanga param vrajet krutiyat tvayato vishnum tretayam yajato mukha dvapare paricharyam kalau tad triti kirtanad. So, the most important factor in this age of Kali, which is an ocean of faults, is that one can be free from all contamination and become eligible to enter the King of God simply by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. The self realization that was achieved in the Satya millennium by meditation, in the Treta millennium by performing of different sacrifices, and in the Dwapara millennium by worship of Lord Krishna, can be achieved in the age of complete, in the age of Kali, simply by chanting the holy name Hare Krishna. So, in summary, we have to purify our heart from all type of contaminations so that we can also amalgamate five elements of our body like earth, water, fire, air, ether into the Mahatattva and the mind into the spiritual sound when we depart from this world so that we don't take birth again. The only purification process recommended for this age of is Nama Sankirtana. So we have to always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna and always engage in the Sankirtana movement. So with this I conclude. Vancha kalpeturubhyacha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare